Rhino. That is a heavy mug. Like that. Man, like it's noticeable. That's a hunk of plastic right there. Okay, this is from the Retro Cardback re-release. Yes, these are the figures that already came out that are now starting to show up on Walmart shelves. Let me say something. Thank you. I don't know what happened. I don't know what is taking place. I don't know why it's happening. But thank you. Because all of a sudden, Walmart has like toy displays for adults with dioramas. And they're selling Star Wars and Transformers and Motu Origins and all kinds of stuff. And on the Marvel section, they're bringing back figures that have been difficult to obtain. Recently, I picked up a J. Jonah Jameson. That is awesome, because I missed him, and it was going to cost money for me to get him. They put this Rhino back out. Arguably, pretty much the Rhino that people want. Like, for right now, this is the Rhino people want. And he's back on the market. Cross-sell wise, what do they got to lose here? They got the Spider Armor Mark I. If they put that figure back out, that's a good Spider-Man. I like that Spider-Man a lot. I'm going to admit to being slightly biased. That's my favorite Spider-Man armor ever. It's one of my all-time favorite costumes. I love that costume, so of course that's fantastic. If you don't have a Hammerhead, here's hoping this whole line comes out. That's what we're arguing right now. I would skip him, but that would be cool. That symbiote Spider-Man, I'm going to be honest with you. If they put that back out, maybe to some people, that's a definitive. I wouldn't argue with you. But I would say that at this point, the black suit Spider-Man from this wave, I think, personally, he has been outdone by the Secret Wars Spider-Man. I think that's a better Spider-Man. His hands are accurate to the actual comic that he was released in. He comes with the other head with like the squinted eyes that look really dangerous. That's a really cool head sculpt. He's got the best articulation that he can have up to this point, really, disincluding things like Maximum. But, like, that's a solid black suit Spider-Man. So, like, I don't know about this wave, if they would put that back on the shelves, how well it would go over compared to just putting that Spider-Man back on the shelves, the Secret Wars one. However, this Ben Reilly, I don't know of another chance that we've had to get him, personally, in this costume, this design. So that would be really cool. I would be interested in that Ben Reilly. That was the Ben when I was growing up, before the Scarlet Spider stuff and whatnot really took off. I would love to get a Shocker, and I would love to get a Hobgoblin. So, like, almost everything about this line I want. And here it is. That's awesome. It's awesome to see this stuff coming back out. Like, it really floors me. Do I have anything to say about the Rhino? Like, he's my favorite character or something like that? No. He's the Rhino. He's cool. That's about it. I don't have much when it comes to, like, gushing over the Rhino, other than to say, realistically, I knew that I wanted a Rhino because I want Spider-Man villains. I mean, it's that simple. I would argue that Batman and Spider-Man have the best rogues galleries in existence. I think, because I read a lot of Spider-Man, I probably lean towards Spider-Man being the more impressive rogues gallery, but it's so minute. Like, if one of them has an edge, I don't think it's by much, in all honesty. That's just kind of where I am. You show me a Spider-Man villain, more than likely I know that villain, more than likely I'd be interested to put it on the shelf. And we've talked about this before. I'm a bit of a Spider-Man putz. You show me some Spider-Man, you've already got my foot 50% in the door. It's not always a guarantee, but it's a pretty good chance. Let's open this guy. All right. We've got two big old grabby-esque hands. And, just to put it out there, the pegs are small on these hands. It probably doesn't matter because he's so big, but I don't know if this would be a problem later on, that when they made this guy, do these, and maybe somebody knows out there, I don't know, do these become a problem later on if you pop them in and out a couple times, and because they're so small in terms of like the peg, does that become a problem? Do they reach a point where they stop kind of sitting in the wrists properly? I don't know, but it is something to think about. Otherwise, we have this head, which is solid enough, and then of course we have the angry head where he charges at you, and it's a good head. It's a good head. Like, it's solid for what it is. I cannot get it to focus for some reason on him, but it's a good head. It really is. Otherwise, this is not a generation figure where, like, they didn't make this guy new, okay? You're not looking at butterflies or anything like that. You're looking at the Rhino, and that's what you're looking at. Now, that being said, I like that they went out of their way to really craft all of this guy. Like, you gotta kind of give this to them because, like, he's not as buff as the Hulk, but, like, he's still remarkably big. He can bend down. That's going to be important for him. If you're going to get that solid run pose or whatever, you want him to be able to kind of lean in like this, put his head down, which he does. So you can kind of get those. You can get those effects. Otherwise, you can get him swinging at Spider-Man and things like that. I think you'll be able to kind of get those things out of him. But, like, he is a big, giant dude, and he has single knees, he has single arms, he has pins everywhere, he doesn't have drop-down hips or anything like that, he's got the swivel, he's an older figure, and it feels like he is an older figure. He is sturdy, he's a lot of plastic, and he is the Rhino, and if you don't have a Rhino and you're willing to understand that this is a re-release, I think you would do just fine, in all honesty. And it's your chance to pick these guys up at a fair MSRP, a real price, not the aftermarket price. What is he in comparison to Spider-Man? Well, that's what we're looking at here. This is the first appearance Spider-Man. That's Rhino. That's terrific scale. Because you're looking at something where, like, I would argue maybe, depending on the artist, he probably could have been a little bit bigger, but I think you would make do very well with this kind of comparison. You can easily create situations where it looks dangerous for him because this thing is coming at him. His head doesn't really turn necessarily. It's kind of got, like, a couple of swivel points. And that's him. Look, there's a lot of detail on this guy, and there's a decent amount of, like, color variation in the grays that really work for him. Otherwise, look, he's an older figure, and he works pretty well. I don't have an excessive amount of stuff to say about him, but I don't think we need an excessive amount of stuff to get the point across. He's the Rhino. That in itself is cool. He's re-released. He's finally back out there in a way that you can actually afford. I think it's a win. And I was more than happy to put him on my shelf for $40 instead of the $140 that I have actually seen him sold for on Amazon. I'm not paying that. I'm not doing it. But I will buy him at the price that he actually should go for. And I did. And I'm happy.
spoken. Take what you will from it.